We'll continue our studies on cell growth and aging. So, what is cell aging? Cell aging means it is generally defined as a progressive decline in the resistant to stress, other cellular damages that causing a gradual loss in the cellular functions. It might be resulting eventually to the cell death. Replicative aging, which refers to the limited number of division of a single cell that can be attained. So this is the definition of the cell aging. I hope you all understood about the cell aging by this definition, which means that the ability of the normal cell, it might be the stress resistance, or it might be a cellular damage, or it might be a cell division. All those things doesn't take place in the aged cell. So further they lead to a death of the cell, and finally the death of the organ might takes place. So all these things doesn't happen in the normal cell, where there will be a regular cell division and there will be a resistant to the stress. The normal cells actually they respond to the stress level, and they also have, there will be a regular division of the cells whenever there will be a damage of a tissue. Thus wherever the cells are required, there will be a continuous formation of these cells that doesn't happen in the aged cell. This is the difference between the aged cell and the normal young cells. So what all are the cellular changes that takes place during aging, or the what all the cellular organelles changes takes place during the aging of the cell is cellular plasma membrane changes. Means the plasma membrane will be having an increased amount of fatty acid deposition, and the structural changes that takes place is decrease in the fluidity of the plasma membrane. As there is a decrease in the fluidity, then it also reduces the transportation of certain nutrients and proteins across the membrane. The nuclear changes that takes place is the decrease in the synthesis of RNA, and it also reduces the ability of the nuclear to do a repairing thing. And cytoplasmic changes that involves is that enzymes synthesize the DNA, and the DNA moves into the cytoplasm. As a result, there will be a increase in the volume of the cytoplasm. And the ribosomal changes that takes place is the number of ribosome decreases. And mitochondria, we know that it is a powerhouse of cell, so the generation of the energy is also reduced. And lysosomal changes that takes place is the lysosome becomes less able to break down the waste, the proteins and nucleic acid, carbohydrates, fats, everything. As a result, that buildup will, the buildup of that waste within the cell increases, and also that leads to the death of the cell. What do you mean by process of aging? The process of aging is called as senescence. And what do you mean by senescence? It is the process of growing old. In biology, it means that the cell ages permanently. As a result, there won't be any dividing thing. The division of the cell doesn't take place, and as a result, there will be a death of the cell. What causes it stop dividing is a DNA damage as well as a telomere erosion. Senescent cells, these have a series of features that characterize them. Beside that, they are not able to divide anymore. Senescent cells are larger when compared to that of a normal cells, and they also express certain molecules that the normal cells cannot secrete, and they are of a smaller quantity, like senescence associated beta galactosidase, senescence associated beta galactosidase, the tumor suppressing P16INK4A, growth factors and cytokinins, all of these are being produced. Let's see the difference between the aging as well as the senescence. Coming on to the definition of aging, aging is a natural process. Okay, as a result, there will be a deterioration of the cells and damage to the cell. But senescence, it is a follow-up of aging. As a result, there will be a stopping of the division of the cell and they enter into the scenario of cell arrest. And reason for this aging is due to the mechanisms such as a DNA damage or protein misfolding. Any of these occurs means that leads to the aging. And what is the reason for this senescence is due to the aging of the cells, where the permanently the cells won't divide, then it leads to the senescence. Result, what happens if there is a aging, the cell undergo to the process of senescence, they enter the process of senescence of apoptosis, where it leads to the death of the cell. And here what is the result is the cells undergo a cellular arrest, where the cell division process is arrested at the interface. As I said in the earlier slide about the interface, it arrests the process of cell division in the interface. And predictability, what do you predict is, it can be predicted, the aging can be predicted, right? But this senescence, it is not predicted whether the cell division is stopped or not. Here we can see what all are the causes of aging. It is a cellular senescence and stem cell exhaustion, altered intercellular communication, genomic instability, telomere attenuation and epigenetic alteration, loss of proteostasis, deregulated nutrient sensing, and mitochondrial dysfunctioning. All these things together causes the aging. Programmed cell death is known as an apoptosis. It is a form of a cell suicide and it is very much coordinated, controlled and a very dependent process. It helps the organism to eliminate unwanted cells whenever there is a damage of that cells which affects the healthy cells. This apoptosis helps to eliminate those damaged cells and it is normally occurs during a process of development and aging. And apoptosis also occurs as a defense mechanism when cells are damaged or diseased something, the apoptosis occurs there. And apoptosis is very much necessary to eliminate the pathogen which enters the cell. Whenever the cells are being attacked by a pathogen, the apoptosis is very much necessary.